Hey everybody, welcome into another edition of Make Every Second Count Live with me, Jeff Marconette Jr., and award-winning international Make Every Second Count speaker. So this is the show we'd like to help you. This is the show where we want you guys to comment any questions, any suggestions, or any takeaways that you have. But I ask you now, if you would please share this video out. Go ahead and hit those thumbs up, those hearts, those frowny faces, those smiley faces, those whatever. Just give us some kind of reaction so we know you're watching. But please help me welcome Connie to the stage.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Connie. How are you doing?
I am doing fine, Jeff. Thank you
That
so much for inviting me here. Thank you.
you are quite welcome. So at this time, I'm going to be inviting some people here on my phone,
Okay.
but I want to ask you if you could please go ahead and tell everybody like your name,
Mhm.
where you're from, what you do, and more importantly, why you do what you do, and then we will go ahead and jump into the broadcast.
Okay, great. I am Connie Amos-Parsons. I was born and raised in Virginia, Central Virginia. I migrated and moved to the DC area, so I'm currently in Maryland, Upper Marlboro, Maryland. I am an outdoors person. I love to enjoy myself and have a great time. And I love being around diverse people. Um, and I am a two-time author. I am a global speaker and an educator. And I am a small business owner. I will be coming up on 15 years, my 15-year anniversary, March the 31st. It's been a
Okay.
long haul, but I've learned so much from the beginning when I first started. I can look back and see the mistakes I made and things that went wrong. And they have been lessons learned for me to share with others, with other entrepreneurs and, novice small business owners. But I enjoy what I do, the passion and the just enjoy meeting people and sharing what I've learned in my life learning and experiences. And I divorced. I do have two adult children who are doing well. My daughter's in the DMV area. And my son is in Dallas, and I have four grandsons. So, yeah, so I'm kind of well-rounded person.
That is amazing, Connie. So I have to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy evening to be here with me and my viewers.
Oh, thank
Now,
you.
I know that talking before the show, you said that you had some kind of emergency that almost made you late, almost made you forget about this
Mhm.
broadcast. So, can you tell us just a little bit about that if you don't mind?
Oh, not at all. It wasn't anything physically. Cars do break down and and my significant other who lives in DC, he's only 10 minutes away from me, and I'm in Maryland. And he called me and asked me if I could pick him up. So I had to stop what I was doing, change clothes, go out, pick him up. And we had to wait for a tow truck and took it to tow it in. And then I had to take him back home and then go through all of that heavy traffic, DMV traffic, through around the Beltway to get back. So when I did come back, thank you so much for texting me because it everything my whole day was kind of distracted this afternoon. But he's safe at home. He's doing okay. His car is in the shop and getting repaired, and I'm safe. So that's what happened to me. Life happens. Life happens. You just
That is great.
yeah,
I'm so glad to hear that
yeah.
everyone is all right and life is being good to you at
Yes.
this time. So at this moment, I would like to say hi to a few people. So hi to my dad who's watching from across the street. Hi to Israel. Hi to Ben Bruce who's watching from Nigeria.
Wow.
Hi to Adam Mark Robinson and he's watching from the UK. And then we have Maria, who is watching from Massachusetts, and Brenda, who is watching from Kansas. So we want to say thank you guys so much to all you all for watching. I hope you enjoy this
Yes.
episode and can get some gain some knowledge from it. So I have to ask, Connie,
Hmm.
I know for personal experience
Hmm.
that you have to grow through some things in order to get to where you are now.
Yes.
So what is it that you've had to grow through to get to where you are now?
Okay. In my past, when I was younger, in my teens and early 20s, I was shy and introverted, and I didn't speak up for myself. So I went through a traumatic marriage, and I was able to get out of that situation after 6.5 years. Took my two small babies with me, and I decided that I was going to change my life and do what I wanted to do. Went back to college and finished up my bachelor's degree and got a job in the federal government and just pushed myself and was driven to succeed. And I basically, instead of being a victim, I became an overcomer and raised my children. Both of them have college degrees, and um, I just pushed right along, and I didn't blame anybody. I just again lessons learned in life, and you don't hold a grudge. And I'm a faith-based person, so I prayed about it and just moved on with my life. So that's what I did. That was the struggle that I had in my life, my late 20s. But I overcame, and I've had a wonderful life.
That is good. So I read on your website
Hmm.
that you help people overcome obstacles in their life so they can live their best life.
Yes, that's exactly.
So,
Mhm.
how exactly do you help others overcome those obstacles?
Okay. Well, before I wrote my book, in my second book, I was sitting on the beach in Jamaica, and I had
Mm,
an idea for wasn't my idea, never thought about it, but I wanted to have a conference for women, and I named it Phenomenal Women Walking in Our Purpose Conference. And I had my first one in 2013. It was a success that when I was still in Lynchburg, Virginia. And what I did was have the ladies send in an application for to Miss Phenomenal Woman, and I base it on not what their career is, but what they give back to the community, what they volunteered to do, how they have helped people and made a difference. That is what I base it on. And I think about 11 or 12 women who I couldn't decide to pick from them who was the best. So I gave them all a certificate. I gave them all a free lunch because this was my first one. There are a lot of unsung heroes or heroines that do so much for people, that help people and volunteer. And I think that is what I do. So I'm not putting down anything about your position or your job because you have a lot of people who do that. But when you give it from your heart and you volunteer when you don't have to help children or to help adults or, teaching or volunteering, working in a hospital, things like that, working in the church, making a difference in people's lives, I think that is something to recognize. So I am doing that again. I have it in Women's History Month, which is March. So it's coming up in March the 12th. I'm having one. And I had two ladies who won Miss Phenomenal Woman. And one is in Virginia Beach, which is about 4 hours away, and the other one lives in she's in Upper Marlboro. But their stories were so just spectacular, just what awesome what they're doing, not only in their jobs but also helping others working in the community. And I just picked both of them. I said I can't decide. I'm gonna just pick both of you. So, but I also mentor. I've mentored people in mostly women, young women. And when I worked in the federal government, I worked in the federal government. I retired early, so I started mentoring about maybe 15 years ago, and I mentor wedding and events planners, and I have just some people who approach me and ask me to help them and give them ideas or help them with problems or even teaching, classes, and I do that as well. So that's how I give back to help people be the best that they can be.
That is phenomenal. You talk about phenomenal women. I think you're a phenomenal woman,
Thank you
and
so much,
I
Joe.
have to say here that Adam Mark Robinson said that successful women with principles, man. He's talking to his friend Ben Bruce, and he says we need to take notes on such phenomenal souls. So you
Thank
have
you,
you
Ben
have
Bruce.
fans all over the world. Just
Thank
to
you
let you
so
know,
much. I appreciate it. Thank
yeah,
you. Thank
yeah.
you.
And now, this show is about helping other people somewhat.
Uh-huh.
So, if what are some other ways we can add value to other people's lives, because when we add value to other people's lives, that value also shows up in our life.
Yes.
And what are some other ways, instead of giving a huge conference or giving that award saying that these women are phenomenal?
Mm-hmm. You can be kind to people. You can
Be
be
kind.
kind to people. Uh,
That's the best advice ever,
exactly.
guys. Pay attention to that one, because
Yes.
that that matters so freaking
Yes, it
much. And
does.
I want to create a banner that says that,
Be kind. Be
because
kind.
that is great
Yeah.
advice. I love it. In the world where you can be anything, I challenge you to be kind.
Be kind and caring. There are so many things challenging in the world now, especially the last 2 years. And kindness does matter. Being what the words that you say to people, uh, cheer them up, say positive things. I like to put on my personal Facebook page. I try to put something about positivity and kindness and helping others and I try to put when someone says something to me, I try and they feeling bad, I try to cheer them up. I try to say something positive. I had someone who I was doing business with yesterday in Philippines, and I said, "I know you're having a hard time, but pray, give it to God." I said, "Keep going and never give up." Um, I I like to tell people what you are capable of doing versus staying pessimistic. There's always hope. There's always, no matter what happens, there's always hope. And don't give up. In my business, one time I was going to give up, and now I laugh at it. I took care of it, but I was getting ready. That was about maybe 8, 9 years ago. I said, I'm not going to deal with this. I'm going to quit. But I stayed with it, and things got better because I started learning more about people and their behavior. I started saying, oh, I've met this type of person before. So I know how this is going to turn out. So just do your job.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I have to try it. I feel that I'm a positive person and upbeat, and I like to see people, even when they're going through hard times, I like to try to say something positive to make them smile. I'll say
Say
something
something
silly.
positive.
I'll say something silly and just, just off the cuff, and just to make people smile and make them happy.
Yeah, that is great. And we have a question here for you from
Yes.
Ben Bruce. He's asked you if you could share with us how to handle pressure.
Oh, that's a good one. How to handle pressure, because we get it all the time.
Yeah.
Pressure/stress, right? That's a good one because you have it all the time, and it's not you. It's sometimes someone is pushing you to that, distract you, and gives you pressure. And what you can do is, and I'm learning this all the time. Because when I was younger, I had a little temper, but you have to learn. Wait a minute, you have to first of all determine how you're going to handle that and not let it stress you out. And then just say what you have to say, and then do what you have to do if it's your job, if somebody on your job, and then walk away from it, meaning just get those distractions out of your life. When you have that stress and that pressure, if it's on the job or in any relationship, you handle it being calm. Even if you have to go out and walk or take a walk or take a break or something, you have to handle that. And I've had a lot. I have had so much. I had stress in November, and I got sick for 5 days. I really did, because it was close to home. It actually was in my neighborhood. And I got sick because I'm going to school full time. I'm working on my MBA. I have my businesses, and I still have a life. And it bothered me so much that I couldn't hardly sleep. So we have that stress. But once I got back on my feet and realized I can't get sick over something that somebody else is doing, and I have no control over them. Guess what? I can control myself. So I stepped down from that position because of for my health. Because if I had stayed in it, it would have been drama and stress, and I walked away from it. I stepped down. I did what I had to do for the organization, and then I stepped down as president. And that's what you have to do sometime. Self-help, self-care, I should say, not self-help. Self-care is the most important thing that you can do for yourself. And stress is really detrimental to your health. So I hope I've helped you. I know it takes patience. I know it takes a lot, but there's always going to be external stress that you can't control, other people or other set situations, like this pandemic, and then the Delta variant, and then the Omicron. We can't control that, but we can control how we react to it. We can prepare ourselves and protect ourselves. The same way with a toxic person. You know that person is not going to change, but you can learn how to not be around them or try to not let them distract you.
Yes.
So
Ben Bruce says, yes, you did help him. So he said, thank you a bunch.
thank you. You're welcome. Where are you from, Ben?
He is from Nigeria.
Nigeria. Okay, wonderful.
Yeah,
We have some
I'm,
students you from in my class from Nigeria.
yeah.
And so wonderful, wonderful. Thank you.
So you talked a little bit about your class.
Yes.
What is your class? Is that
I
your MBA class or?
Yes, one of my MBA classes. I had 1 year, and then I quit because of my job and all of that years ago. And I decided during the pandemic, because now we were locked down from March through June in 2020. And I lived by myself in a townhouse. So my daughter, I couldn't see my daughter and my grandson here in the DMV area. I couldn't travel to see my son. I couldn't see my friends because we were locked down. So I saw an ad from Jack Welch Management Institute that popped up on my cell phone. And I said, oh, that's the MBA program. Let me take a look at it. And I looked at it and then I said, well, why don't I apply and just see? And I got accepted the next day. And then they called me and I said, well, I will have to get a student loan because I don't have up that type of money up in the thousands and thousands of dollars. So it took me about a week to get the FAFSA approved, and I get loans and I have to pay it back. But do you not know that was the best thing in the world for me to start back in my MBA classes? Now I've been out over 10 years, so I had to start from scratch. That 1 year they wouldn't count the credits. But do you know the professors and the students are so enlightening and so helpful and so just energetic and just a ball of fire. And I enjoy it so much. Plus the fact that they encourage you. I'm gonna be spoiled when I get through because they encourage you. Everything is positive, even when you feel that you haven't done a good job or haven't, your paper might not be written well. They still encourage you to don't make you feel like, oh, I didn't do good or you didn't do right that well. And the most important thing about it is, and I'm not bragging, but I'm proud of myself. I've worked so hard. I've got all honors grades. This is my 8th class. I've got all honors grades. That's right.
Good job.
Yes, I've been focusing and concentrating and not being distracted because you really can't go a lot of places. You can't be around a lot of crowd, a lot of people because of the, variants now. And I just use that time. I'm ready to study after this. I got to go back to studying. So because I was supposed to be studying tonight to 10. So I had distractions, and this is a great medium to talk with you and everyone. That's not a distraction for me. It's a pleasure for me to be here. But I still got to make up for my homework, so I got to go back to that after this is done.
Yeah. Well, I know that homework is so important, so I'm not going to keep you for long.
Oh no, no,
from
no!
that.
I'm good. I'm good.
But
No, I'm
have you noticed, and that this might be a thing that is just me, but the pandemic, the whole quarantine thing, the whole lockdown thing was beneficial to some people. To some people, it wasn't the stress. It wasn't the, oh no, what am I going to do now thing that it gave me, especially me, time to focus on me.
Yes.
And not worry so much about other people. And that actually helped me out in my career. So
Yes.
do you find that when things happen like that make you stretch, take you out of your comfort zone, that you end up growing instead of shriveling up and dying?
Yes, absolutely. I had just like the idea that came to me on the beach in Jamaica about the Phenomenal Women Conference and helping women to be all they can be and encouraging them. The same thing happened when I was out when the first week in March, I guess the second week in March it was shut down. It was really depressing because we never had that before. And
No.
we couldn't go anywhere. Everything was closed.
Yeah.
Everything. And I didn't know what to do for myself. So I started getting down. But this course, I pivoted and I said, I'm going to do this because after all, it's keeping me mentally alert. I'm learning new things, and I haven't been to school in a long time, so I'm going back. And it really, I've learned so much about myself because the first class was leadership, and I learned one thing, and this is going to be helpful to you all because we all have that self critic. You might have seen there was a TEDx presentation. We have that self critic in the back of our minds about we can't do this, I can't do that, I'm too tall, I'm too short, I'm not good enough, they won't like me, blah blah blah. We tell that to ourselves, and it's called self critic. We are sometimes our own worst critic. And I said, wow, when I do things, I say, well, I don't know if I can do that, or I might not be able to do that. I used to say that, and that had me feeling bad. I used to say, because my girlfriend told me, she was in the military, so they couldn't say we can't do it. And she said, why do you say that all the time? You can't lift that, you can't do that. And she told me that about 3 years ago, and I realized I had that self-critic. So when I learned that in uh, leadership development for the 21st century, when I learned that, I started crying when I saw that TEDx. That was a teachable moment, that our minds, our positivity, not our negativity, makes us stronger. The words that come out of our mouth make us strong. I'm getting really emotional about that now because how it changed my life. And I even told my significant other, that was 2 years ago. And I said, guess what? I learned about self critic. And I said, now I might not be as insecure as you think, as I think I am. I'm confident now. It changed my life. And it changes your life, how you think. It really does.
That is outstanding. So I know you're talking about doing your own form of personal development, watching TEDx talks. I assume you watch them on YouTube,
Yes.
but is there anything that you would suggest to other people to start their personal development journey, start the journey towards growth?
Yes. I would say to have self confidence is the most important thing, because when you have confidence, that moves you to being bold and doing things and thinking outside the box and thinking that you can do it versus you can't do it. Because if you get up and speak and you don't appear to be confident to your audience, then your audience won't be confident about your speaking abilities. So I think one of the most important things I learned is about self-confidence. Start with your own self. Start with your self-awareness and knowing who you are. All of this was in leadership. I could have took that one class and stopped, but I kept going. Leader empathy, self-awareness, knowing who you are, social awareness, all of that was in emotional intelligence. All of that was in the leadership, my very first class. And it stays with me now. Once you know who you are and what you are and what your values are and what your principles are and what you will allow to happen and what you won't allow to happen, then you can do anything that you want to in your career. Because now you can say, I'm applying myself. All I got to do is learn, read this, and then take classes because I know I can do it now.
Yeah.
And actually, the hardest class that I had, which was, I think it was December, I finished. It was Financial Management 1, but it had accounting and finance in one class. And that's not my forte. I'm not good at either one. I should say, I wasn't good at either one. And I worked so hard. I had to read the chapters twice in order to get it. And I was praying and asking for God to give me the uh, ability to comprehend it. Because I just thought all of this time that finance and accounting, I didn't like it. I didn't like it in undergrad. But this time I had a different perspective. Actually read those chapters twice. I really did. And then once I had to take financial management two, it was easier.
Yeah.
And I got honors in both of them. So it's all about saying to yourself, you strong, I can do this, just like kids do when they grow up. I'm gonna do it. They might not be big enough, they might not be old enough, but they're not afraid to do stuff. They put
No.
on their little cape and jump off the bed because they think they're Superman or Superwoman in
Oh, I
their
still
mind.
think I'm Superman.
That's right. That's right. That's right. In their mind, that's who they are. And that's what we have to present, that we can control our own lives, because it starts from here and
That,
in your heart. In your heart. Yes.
that is some great advice, guys. I just want to remind you that in the world where you can be anything, be kind. Because if you're kind to other people will be kind to you.
Yes, they will.
And that makes for a much better world.
Yes, it
Because if
does.
everybody in the world was kind to one another, can you imagine what would actually happen?
It would.
We wouldn't have all these shootings.
Nope.
We wouldn't have all these people mad at other people for no good thing in the world or no reason in the world.
That's right.
But we would all just be happy.
Yes.
We would be joyful.
Yes.
We would love life.
Yes.
And that's what we need to do. And it all starts with you being kind.
Yes.
So great advice from Connie here. Now, I have to ask Connie.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You were talking about books.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How can people get a hold of those books if they want to?
Okay.
Or how can they get a hold of you if they
Okay.
want to?
You can find me I am on Instagram at Planners Rock, because I was, and I still am, an event planner, but Planners Rock. My author, speaker, and educator website is separate from my events planning, and that's my name, Connie Amos-Pars1. Connie Amos-Pars, PARS1.com. And then my email is the same, Connie Amos, PARS1 at gmail.com. My book is Peaks, Peaks, Valleys, and Can You See It? And Overcoming the Odds, Stepping Out on Faith and Confidence. That is on Amazon. It's a paperback, and you also can get it on Kindle. That was my first book in 2017. I wrote this book. How much more time do you have for me? Because I'm going to tell you the backstory about that. I wrote this book after a tragedy. One of my friends from elementary school all the way through high school got involved in a relationship at 18 years old. And he was abusive to her, domestic abuse. And she did not get out of the relationship and the marriage. And she died in 2017. And I was at her funeral. And I had seen her maybe once since we were in high school together. And she told me what was going on. So when I went to her funeral, I cried all the way home back to Alexandria, Virginia. And I went to church that Sunday. The same sermon that they had at her funeral, a visiting minister had the same scripture, not sermon, but scripture. And I knew then that I had to do something. And I went home and started writing that book. And it only took me 19 days to write this book, Peaks, Valleys, and Overcome the Odds. I wrote every time I had an idea, I would write. Every time I had an idea, I would write. and I used notes on my cell phone. I used notes, and because you reach over, it's next to you anyway. And I would get up in the middle of the night and have ideas, and I would write it, and I got it published. And then my second book, which is How Did I Change My Life Today? 8 Steps to Success. That is a non self-published book. So if people want to order both of these, they can go on Amazon and order this. And if they want the two together, I only charge $35 for both of them, and I could get the address and I could mail it to them. But this one is about it's a journal to the second one. So now that I'm whole and overcome and doing well in my career, and my children are doing well, then I said, what do I give back now? So I have things like goal setting and just all kinds of affirmations. And it's a workbook that you can write down in your journal. And I give a lot of good information in that. So that actually sold out. I was surprised that actually sold out. But I can get it, printed again. But the first one, Peace, Balance, and Overcome the Odds, Stepping Out on Faith and Confidence, is on Amazon, Connie Amos-Parsons. And yeah, so, but yeah. You picked up really well about the type of person I am, my personality, about loving life. You really have to love life and enjoy the gift that you have.
Yeah.
And it's only one of you, Jeff, only one of me. And like you say, what is it? Make every second count.
Yeah.
Live your life. Live your best life, because we're not coming back. So make sure that you give your best.
Yeah. That is great advice. And I have to say that each person out there, thank you so much for watching tonight. And Connie, thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to be here with me and my viewers. But each person out there, including you, Connie, needs to do me a favor.
Mm-hmm.
You need to make every second count.
Yes.
Why, you might ask? Because you never know when the seconds are going to run out on your one life. Hey guys, have a great night. I'll see you back here next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And until then,
bye. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much for being here.
Make every second count. I'll see you guys later. Have a great night.
Thanks, Jeff. Thank you.